Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Back here for another daily shake-up. Time to shake up our thinking about life and leadership. Today, I want to talk about marbles. Well, no, not losing your marbles, but maybe, yeah, actually a little bit of a way that we end up losing our marbles. And that is that we keep piling too many marbles into our hand. And eventually they start falling off onto the floor, rolling around, and we lose track of them and we are no longer effective with them. And what this relates to is how often in our lives, whether it's business, personal, and often a combination, we just keep piling things into our lives. We want new things. At work, we want to have a new line of business, a new target market. Maybe we want to start a new business. We want to have new things in our lives. We want to do new activities. We want to do new hobbies. We say, I want to do that. I want to do more of that. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. But as we're adding more, we never take things off the plate. And then we're surprised that we end up with not only these overflowing plate, but multiple plates all overflowing because we're not taking things off when we put things on. And see, the thing is, there's a cost to that. And usually that cost is an unexpected, although it could have been because we just didn't think about it, but it's an unconscious cost. So my encouragement is to think ahead of time about what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to give up to have this something new? Now, by the way, that applies not only to things outside ourselves, but inside ourselves. So many people say, I want to be different some way. I want to do work on myself. I want to do personal development. But in order to take on some new way of being, you have to give up some old way of being. And that old way of being was serving you somehow. And as a result, you're attached to it. You're holding on. So a lot of times we're trying to take on new things, but we have a closed fist. Or we're adding new things like this handful of marbles, and we keep adding marbles without taking some out. A long time ago, I heard this question, and now I ask people who want to become entrepreneurs this question. What are you willing to give up in order to be an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur? Most of them don't have an answer and ultimately can't even come up with one because they don't want to give anything up. They believe that they can just pile things on. And if you know me well, you know I'm a piler. So I've learned painfully from experience. When we want to add new, we need to be prepared to give things up. Now, this may seem paradoxical if you know me, because I also believe that we can have our cake and eat it too, but we can't do everything all at once. We end up being distracted, we're not focused, and we end up taking the whole handful of marbles and making all the marbles less effective. So, what are you willing to give up to have something new? Be thoughtful about it. Be aware of the cost before you start piling those marbles and they start falling all over the floor. That's it. That's the thought for today. Love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts. Give us a like, a share, and certainly a comment, and have a fabulous day.